It's the one thing that everybody knows how to do, absolutely is ready to go do it, and nobody's talking about it.
Tell me, I'm quite ignorant. What's the actual fuel cell or the hydrogen technology? It's a different way of using.
Get away from fuel cell, because fuel cell uses hydrogen.
Right.
And if we had a fuel cell car, it would use the hydrogen.
Okay.
But rather than even building one, why don't I just take what I got in your car, called an engine, and make a couple $100 modification, because hydrogen burns hotter, so there'll be some places I have to reinforce, and in production get it way down. But other than that, use what's existing in the whole world. Don't change anything. Just change, instead of oil, let's use dirty water.
And you still need kind of gas stations and all
well,
that.
there's the next problem. How do you deliver this water? It's not so easy to say what I just said.
No.
Because you just can't get a garden hose. Who the hell knows what I don't know.
Right.
There's lots of problems, but the nice problem is the solution, when it's done, the advantages are incredible.
Yes.
Except it will displace the world in such a dramatic way that anybody playing in the game called Hydrogen on Demand is scared for their life. Because there's a story that everybody in that industry knows, which is a gentleman by the name of Meyer built a dune buggy and drove it across country on water.
When was that?
In the 80s.
Okay.
And he took it to the Pentagon. And his purpose was to sell them the idea for tanks. Because tanks are heavy users of very dirty fuel.
Right.
And the big problem is carrying it behind it. If you could use water, oh my God.
Of course.
All right? Well, he was poisoned in the Pentagon and died.
In the Pentagon?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Now, here's what I told you, is all the information that's available to the world.
Right.
Nobody knows what it's just.
Folks, that's a good movie, by the way, probably in the making right here. I think there's a good story there.
No, it's a great story.
It's a great story.
Oh, it's a great, and it scared the hell out of people.
It is.
And when I started jumping in the industry, then the next thing they did, when I say they, it's like the universe conspired to make sure nobody paid attention to this technology. Because it's simple, it's clean, and it's inexpensive to even do the tests and the development of. All right.
It's not so far-fetched that it's
not so far-fetched. Everybody knows.
No,
it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It's everybody who's scientific knows that it can be, and nobody wants to talk about it. Jet Propulsion Laboratory. JPL is the arm of NASA. California, Pasadena. They are the arm commissioned by NASA that every rocket that leaves Earth without a man in it comes from jet propulsion.
Gotcha.
So Mars and moon landings without people.
Right.
The head of the energy department, which means fuel cells, developing them, any kind of battery, anything that's available out there that would have anything with fuel or ways, not fuel, but getting something to move, is this man's responsibility. And all the scientists worked under him. His name is Ralph Serampudi.
Okay.
He is not only a genius, he is one of the nicest, warmest human beings you'll ever want to meet in your life.
Fantastic.
If only everybody who worked for us was like that, this world would be beyond unbelievable. Now, back in the turn of the century, right before the turn and during the turn, I was involved with them helping develop a micro fuel cell, a little teensy-weensy fuel cell using methanol. So you could take a lighter, pump and lighter, or charger, or telephone, whatever little shit. So instead of lithium batteries, you would use this, you go plump, and it would run for a week and a half. And we were playing with that and other things, and they got into patent things, and they were supposed to have them, but it doesn't really matter. It was an interesting lesson for me to learn how interesting technologies are and to make a good friend. All right, now we fast forward, I get a call. Now I'm into Hydrogen on Demand, and I see a minute I looked up to see what people say about it. Scam, scam. If I was working for a company, I would shut that book and never talk about it again. Because what are you, out of your mind? Why would you fight it? And these were not the oil company. These were legitimate people, like television shows that heard about it, because you can go to the internet and buy it for $50. Hydrogen on Demand. Put it in your car and you'll get more miles. It says. And what happens? You do get more miles. And then all of a sudden, and therefore you think you've been scammed. So a television station doing a report on it will say, wow, this is unbelievable. I just got 60% more. My tailpipe is cleaner. And then a week later when they, this is bullshit. I'm not getting any better. And blah, 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 blah.
Interesting.
And you would think somebody's being paid off. So I said, this doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, the answer was the smog system has oxygen sensors, and it's against the law to mess with anything on your smog, on your thing. It's a $25,000 fine per car.
Right.
If you, even if it's yours, you cannot do it and drive that car. So here we got the situation where there's an oxygen sensor, in comes HHO. It works fine until the computer readjusts itself, compensates for the more oxygen, and therefore negates and sometimes even makes worse.
Okay.
End of story.
Okay.
And there's no way if you tell the person change your oxygen.
Converter?
Huh?
It's got catalytic converter. Is that?
It's all combined with that whole thing. And in fact, hydrogen on demand, if you just use it to mix with gas, you'd eventually get rid of the catalytic converter, except you're not allowed to do any of it.
Sure, you can't
because
touch
you're
that.
messing with it.
Don't touch that.
Even in testing, you're really not allowed to do it.
Right.
All right, here I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
you don't want hackers to start tampering with the system because it's
get
supposed
dirty.
to protect the
and everybody will mess with it because you get you better gas mileage, you get you a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you have smog tests, so that you don't do that. Anyhow, I'm excited out of my mind. I go to Jeff and Paul. They call me. Malcolm, please come in. We want to make a very lengthy presentation of every technology available in the world because we'd like you to partner up with us on whatever you think makes the most sense. And I got
What year was that?
Huh? This is in the about the 02.
02, okay.
02, yeah, about 2 years before I ended up bringing the car.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, great. My God, you know, what a wonderful invitation, right? So I walk in with my chief of staff, and the two of us, there must be 20 scientists in the room. These are the best in the world about every technology. And they went through a presentation of every technology known to man, some of them so ridiculous that we all had to laugh out loud. You know, when you take this and you turn it to that, which goes over here, and the end result, if it all works, you're So they give me the presentation, it gets all done, and I stand up, actually, and I said, this is unbelievable. They're all excited. I said, you just gave me a presentation of some very practical and some very ridiculous technologies, and on none of those pages did you talk about hydrogen on demand. The only thing that is already done, totally simple and costs nothing, you didn't even happen to give a footnote, oh, by the way, there's hydrogen on demand. I said, now I don't think anybody here is getting paid off to put that off the list, but isn't it amazing the job that has been done that keeps you from even acknowledging that it exists?
What did they say?
I said, well, they were dumbfounded. They were embarrassed, as they should be. I was saying the king has no clothes, or the emperor has no clothes in front of them, and they know the emperor has no clothes.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm here to let you know that we have a situation where the world has very successfully gotten away for nobody to pay attention on that, and I am. End of story. Is that something? And that was difficult because they would not want to tell their colleagues they were working on it because the colleagues would go, ah.
But Malcolm, I don't understand. That was 12 years ago.
Yep.
How come it's not like all over the news?
I'll tell you exactly why.
Tell me.
In 07, when did we crash? 08? 07.
09, 09.
Okay, 07, I decided enough of this shit. I am going to get in this business in the following way, the way they do in advertising, in the internet, when you go buy it for $50.
Right.
I'm going to develop it, I'm going to get rid of the oxygen sensor, and I'm going to see how to modify it so I get 100% better fuel miles for
100%.
100% better fuel miles and cut the emissions in half.
Wow.
So much so that maybe we can get rid of the catalytic converter.
Right.
And find a way to force it on the world.
Right.
So that once it's out, then
right.
Can't stop it then. And boom, in comes the crash.
A big crash.
And I say, wow, how cool is that? Now I have something that you could put on every one of my American manufacturers, probably for less than $25, that will double the miles and make it
Can you
clean.
believe that?
It will save the industry. With no modifications.
$25?
Huh?
It would take $25 for the...
Maybe. I'm pushing it high on the high. It's a piece of stainless steel into water. It could be a piece of plastic water. Period. And you use this much water, it'll go for days. And you don't lose any of the water. You can drink it at the end of the game. That simple. Anyhow. And I'm oversimplifying some things, but not that much.
No, but I got you.
In any case, so I'm saying, wow, isn't that exciting? Then they put the task force in, and then I read Ron Harbour is becoming an advisor to the task force.
Right.
Who's Ron Harbour?